We did it! Finally! It's been done. I have completed 100% every achievement. Elden Ring. Before we continue, there's two things that must be done. Okay, with that out of the way, Elden Ring. Honestly, there isn't a lot I could really say that hasn't been said 1,000 times. I think the internet is well aware of what this game is. You're aware. You probably wouldn't have even clicked on this video. There's nothing I can add. 10 out of 10, pretty much across the board. Everybody says it's a perfect game, and I pretty much am inclined to agree. Not by force. I've extensively played this game. I forgot what the sun looked like for a good minute there. Social interactions were cut down to an absolute minimum. The only social interactions I had during this game were talking to people that were also playing the game. That's it. Mom, leave me alone. I don't need to talk to anybody. Nothing. It was worth it. I didn't want to take the needle out. I don't have a problem. I can quit anytime. That being said, it pretty much is a perfect game, especially with games that come out right now that are like, we're in this constant trend of just being non-polished, half the stuff isn't included. And honestly, my biggest gripe with this game is that it just didn't have microtransactions or ways to just give useless amounts of money for nothing. I wish they had some kind of gacha experience in the Elden Ring lore, you know, just something to really mix it up. But that being said, pretty much this game I can't really find much wrong with it. Pretty much the biggest complaints were on PC with frame rates and crashing issues, and I really never had that many. This game maybe crashed 3 or 4 times across my entire experience, and it was like on day 1 or 2. So, as far as the technical side goes, it wasn't that bad, and it's since been a lot better. It's already gotten patches. The actual gameplay, this is essentially the first Strand type Souls game. Fuck, I can't even do that joke properly. Never before in any of the FromSoft games, and I've really only had experience with Dark Souls 1 and 3 prior to this game. I still do eventually want to go and play the other ones, and Sekiro, but when it comes to this one, it felt closer to Dark Souls with the ability to choose how you want to play, and the open world definitely makes it so you can just do whatever you want at any point. You can just beeline main bosses if you want, but you can just pick melee, or you can pick magic, or you can pick super defensive, or you can play very aggressive, and it's just very open, and that's what I like so much about the Dark Souls series in general. But this game in particular, if you get stuck on something, you can just leave and go somewhere else until the later areas where, of course, you're stuck on Malenia for the 1,000th time in a row of hearing her spout on about how she is the Blade of Mikola and how she just clapped your cheeks over and over again. I'm not salty. I would absolutely take the collector's edition of that statue and spike it on the ground as hard as possible if I had bought it. I'm glad I didn't. That boss, fucking brutal. Absolutely the hardest part of the game. But it's optional. You don't need to beat it if you're a bitch. That being said, the actual core gameplay loop is a bunch of these dungeons and areas with some legacy, more familiar settings that provide optional bosses and just places to explore, and you can spend forever. I must have done so many, and the best part of this game was going in one area and starting at the same time and having 2 friends tell me they were in different areas from each other, and we all started at the same place. It is so open for different experiences at different points, and you have these different experiences depending on how early or late you end up in an area. The biggest complaint obviously being that people are saying some bosses are just too easy and you can just roll them because you're over leveled. But if you find it earlier, it's going to be harder. It's just a cool experience, and you kind of get used to it. It does feel a little tedious and like a chore just going through all these like mini dungeon rinse and repeat bosses. But at the end of the day, it's really not that much of a blemish on the game. It's just a little extra thing that maybe they could have scaled it a little better, but that's a nitpick, and I'm not even the one making that nitpick. It's just something I'm noticing other people upset about. It does get harder later on. Some of the main bosses will clap your cheeks. There is no way around it, so you'll be fine. If you're complaining about the game being too easy, trust me, it will get harder. That being said, as far as the actual achievements in this game go, it's probably the easiest FromSoft game, like, achievement-wise. I'm not saying that as a joke. I genuinely mean that. It has you collect a couple legendary items. You don't have to go farming for them. They're in specific areas or through specific means of just do this, grab it from the person, and that's it. Very straightforward. In location, pick it up. That's it. There's not really any RNG stuff, which I appreciate so much after Covenant items and just item drops in the previous series. So that made this very easy. Time-wise, very long. This game took me like 130 hours to complete, but it's because I played the first half of the game very slow and methodically and just like picked off each little area. Eventually just kind of exploring at a rapid pace and knowing, oh, I don't have to waste time on that. I'll just beat this. And then coming back to the earlier game stuff because I could. I pretty much found myself late game and going, I never saw these things in the beginning game. Like, it was just very cool. But yeah, aside from that, achievement wise, there's really nothing. Beat all the main bosses and optional ones, like all the big named ones, collect the special items, and get 3 different endings. And this game, for the endings, there's one like secret ending, which is what I did as my initial one because you have to be meticulous with it. And then the bad and neutral ending are a little more straightforward. Go to this specific area, do one interaction, and then beat the game, or just beat the game. So I saved those for my shorter New Game Plus 1 and 2s. And you can blast through this game. You just have to do the main bosses without skips, straight legit. You can just blitz through the game. I beat it twice in one day, just going through the main things and just bum rushing everything for those 2 extra endings. It took me like 3 hours per playthrough. It's actually not that long if you know what you're doing and where to go, because this game is very obscure and very big, so you won't just naturally figure this out without either looking it up or just playing the game like you should once. So your first playthrough is going to be the longest, and that's where you should do most of the stuff. New Game Plus is just for an additional challenge and just getting an expanded feel for the game and just more playthrough. There's not like Dark Souls 3 levels of like you have to get specific items only in this. There might be, but I'm not too sure on that yet just because the game is still fairly new. And I've seen people complete this game in 96 hours, 100 hours. Like, people are somehow more cracked than I am if you're bum rushing through and know where to go. But with this game, just enjoy it. There's no rush. There's people that have literally put like 80 hours into the game and haven't even gotten halfway through it. And I respect that. I'm working a full-time job trying to beat this game, so when I took almost a whole week off when this game launched and did nothing else, and then I went back to work, thought about it all day, fucking like frothing at the mouth, like having the withdrawals, and then got off work and immediately went back to playing it until I went back in. It's just that good. It's been a while since we've had a game this addicting that universally is beloved by most people on the internet. Sure, there's the people that either don't like the style of game or just have their gripes with it, and that's fair. It's just not for them. I hated Dark Souls when I started the series. Fuck. The first time I played Dark Souls, I dropped it the same day. It was the worst. I got to the double gargoyles and I was done. I could not beat it. Now, I picked up Dark Souls 1 just to see how it compares, and I will say, fuck. The bad part about Elden Ring makes the early games feel way more jank. Dark Souls 1 feels awful to play now. I want to like guard counter. They added that mechanic, which I loved. Dual wielding fucking ultra great swords was unga bunga the entire time. I even did dabble a little with magic, but strength is the way to go. I'm biased. It's the best build, even though it does feel like a lot of people agree that they kind of get shafted as a strength build in Elden Ring. I don't care. It was fun. I will take fucking punches in the face while I'm fucking clapping everything with 2500 damage. This game slaps. But yeah, it does make Dark Souls 1 especially feel very clunky and just like the mechanics not super great, and I want to do certain mechanics. But it is what it is. It's evolution of a series. They are improving and expanding with every iteration, and it's very clear to see. If you haven't, give this game a shot. I genuinely feel like people that don't play games at all are even looking at this game, and that's exciting. It's genuinely the easiest game to get into. It has difficulties, but it's a learning experience. These games aren't hard to be hard unless it's Dark Souls 1 with platforming and fucking archers on scaffoldings and stuff. That's bullshit. That's difficult because it's not fair. That's dumb. I'm allowed to be salty about it. But when it comes to the actual like level designs of this, it feels much more tuned and much more built to give you a fair experience. If you're losing, it's because you're either not playing with the proper mentality or just change up your equipment a little bit. It's all about learning. It's about patience and learning what they are coming at you with. You can beat it. I promise you, it is absolutely possible. I was trash at these games when I first started, and I'm still pretty bad at them, but I'm getting way better, and it's amazing to see because I used to avoid games like this and avoid people that like these games because I'm like, how? What kind of monster masochist are you? But now I get it. I get the satisfaction. It's so worth it. So yeah, that was pretty much just a rant I wanted to go on. I wasn't sure what kind of video to really make for Elden Ring. I'm not really a let's play type of channel. I just kind of, if you haven't noticed, make a video on whatever it is I'm doing and just kind of for fun. Work's been crazy, so I've been very bad at my upload schedule. It has been super painful. I'm pushing myself just to make this video, so thank you for so much. Thank you for so much. Thank you so much for watching this video. It means more than you could possibly imagine, especially up to this point. Most people are only going to watch like the first minute of it and realize, okay, whatever, just a boring rant video. But I don't know. I only really make videos if I'm super passionate about it and I care enough. So it genuinely means the world to me that you watched to this point. You don't have to subscribe. You don't have to like it. You better, but you don't have to. All the shilling stuff. Other than that, that's all I really had to talk about for today. So I hope you have an absolutely great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.